Making it a goal to walk in the footsteps of Venus and Serena Williams are two sisters who are affectionately called the Brown Girls, Simone and Lauren Vranov-Brown. They are two of Andre and Rita Brown's 3 children who are being groomed for tennis greatness. In 1999, Andre Brown moved his family from East Orange, New Jersey to Windermere, Florida for one main reason: tennis. The family dynamics are unique, and it stems from Andre's ability to separate the father and coach role.
It's a mixture, but at the same time we know when it's time to be daughter and father and to be player and coach. We may bump heads every now and then, but we both know that we both want to win and we both want to be successful and raise to the next level.
Simone, who is now a pro, is the oldest of the dynamic duo. She began playing when she was 4 years old. A champion in her own right, she's won numerous tournaments and awards and has received tennis scholarship offers from Stanford, Yale, the Naval Academy at Annapolis, the University of Miami, and the University of Florida. Lauren, the younger of the two, began playing when she was 5 years old. She too has won many tournaments and is keeping up with her older sister.
It's just so much fun, and it's like I'm so good at it, and it's something I just love to do every day. And it's like, if you think about it, it's like I get to play a sport and make a living off of it, and it's like it's awesome.
Move over, Venus and Serena. Here come Simone and Lauren, the Brown Girls. Welcome back to Dream Out Loud. I'm here today at the home of Rita and Andre Vranov-Brown, and we will be talking with their daughters, Simone and Lauren. Welcome to Dream Out Loud.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
So glad to have you on the show. Now let's start back from the beginning. You made your transition from East Orange, New Jersey to Windermere, Florida. Tell us, what was the major factor in you deciding to move your family to the sunny state of Florida?
Okay, I started training my kids because the schools that they went to at the time, they didn't have any physical education.
Okay.
As we progressed with that, I started introducing them to tennis, and then Simone got pretty good. She showed early signs that she could go really far with this. Discussing it with my wife, we realized that it was difficult for us to develop a tennis player in New Jersey because of the costs, because of the weather. Florida is the tennis capital of the world, so we made the decision that if we were going to take a shot at this, we'd have to bite the bullet and jump and move to Florida.
Okay, so now to the girls, you started at 4 and 5 years old. What was the highlight of your journey through your tennis career? What would you say?
I think when I was young, like the best thing, I loved the summer camps we did. Like we'd be out there all day, but we met so many people and we learned a lot, and that's what brought us to where we are now.
Yeah, a huge memory I have, especially, was when we lived down by Metro West, where we would practice at least 4 hours a day, and it was just grueling, but it was fun.
You said grueling but fun, Simone. So Andre, this is what I want you to tell us is the making of a champion. I think you have 2 champions here, and you also have another young daughter who's 8 years old, Melina. What does it take to make a champion?
First of all, it takes a village. You have to have a stable household. You have to have tremendous input from both parents. You have to have tremendous support group from grandparents, from close friends, because there are going to be several obstacles. I can't even begin to tell you how many obstacles that we've encountered. But you know, to build a champion, you have to have good values. You have to say what you mean and mean what you say. You have to be a father and not a friend. There are times where you have to be a friend, but more importantly, you know, you have to set rules and you have to set parameters for the kids.
So what's a day like? What would a day like and be like for Simone and Lauren with their tennis?
Well, again, we have in-season and out-season. In-season is when they're actually going to school and training. They go to regular public schools, so you know we adjust our schedule according to that. They go to school at 6 a.m. in the morning. They come home at 2. They take a quick break, and then we hit the court from 3 to about 7. We do a lot of on-court drills, depending on whether we're preparing for a tournament or not. We do a lot of hitting. And then at the end, you know, we do hitting for 2 hours, and then we do fitness. They do running, they do sprinting, and they get in the gym, you know, to get the body strong and ready.
Okay. So this is a dream of yours, I'm assuming, but how did you know that this was your dream and not just your father's dream, Simone and Lauren?
I think It happened to me when I was 13. I played Fed Cup in Honduras, and Simone had an injury. At the time, she was the number one on the team, and I was number two. She had an injury and had to step down as number one, and I played this girl, Maria, who was a top player on the ITF tour, and I beat her 7-6, 6-3,
Awesome.
and that's when I decided, I was like, this is what I want.
Awesome, awesome. What about you, Simone?
As for me, it was back in 2005, the beginning of the year, where I was playing the quarterfinals against this really tall girl, Bradley Lohr. And it was cold, it was about 54 degrees Fahrenheit, and I lost a set 6-love, and I was down 5-1 in the second, her serving for the match. And then all of a sudden I'm like, there's no way I'm losing, there's no way I'm losing. And my sister and my dad were watching us, and my dad was saying, oh, just pack up the car. This is a loss, this is a loss.
You said that, Dad.
Yeah,
I heard that on the sideline, and then just something inside of me was just like, I'm not losing tonight. And then I won another game, and then another game, and another game, then ended up winning the second set, 7-5. Then in the third set, I started cramping from head to toe, crying like crazy. I could not walk, I could barely serve or run after the ball. And it's just dig deep down. My dad, on the changeovers and stuff, when we had a medical timeout, he said, you can do this, whether you win or lose, just fight for it. And I was just like, I'm not losing today, I'm not losing today. And I ended up winning the third set 6-3.
And she went on to win the tournament.
And yeah, and I ended up to win the tournament, and it was a huge breakthrough for me, and I knew at this time that this is meant for me, and I'm meant to change history.
That's awesome. So those were the defining moments when you knew this was for me. That's wonderful. I know you've been compared to Venus and Serena Williams. You probably knew this question was coming up.
Yeah.
So please tell me, which one of you is compared to Venus and which one is compared to Serena?
It's a tough one because for age-wise, they would compare Simone being the oldest one, Venus, me, Serena. Her height and her physical shape, Serena, my height and physical shape would be like Venus. But I don't know, I would have to say I can relate to Serena a lot more because she's the younger sister. She had to grow up playing her older sister who used to beat her all the time, and like the motivation came from her sister. Tennis was given to her because her older sister. I think I relate a lot more to Serena.
Okay. Would you agree, Simone?
I mean, I would agree with her, but I also like Serena as well because not only she's my body type and body size, but her will and her mental fortitude is so strong. It's incredible to watch and see. And I like Venus as well, but I'm more drawn to Serena's fiery power and everything like that.
So, well, we're looking forward to seeing you two being the next Venus and Serena. So that's exciting. Okay, I like that, but better. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, well, whilst the comparison to Venus and Serena we're going to get it, and it's kind of obvious, we don't actually look at it like that. We're not going to be the next Venus and Serena. We're going to be the first Simone and Lauren. Our situation is different. Our background is different. What I bring to the game as a coach and as a father is totally different, with full respect to Richard Williams and what he's accomplished. I mean, here it is, a man from Compton, California, taught himself how to play the game and produce a #1 and #2 players in the world. Fascinating. But, my journey, our journey is a lot different. I think we bring a little bit more to the table, but, only time will tell. Only time will tell.
Now, where did you get your tennis ability from? Where did that come from?
I've pretty much, it was always my calling. I mean, I was originally from Jamaica. I grew up in that culture of athletics and track and field. I did run for Jamaica. I did play a lot of other sports. But I had my first tennis lesson at 5, and I have never, ever put down the racket. It's so funny with the notoriety that we're getting now. All my friends are like, dude, I never knew you did this. And it's because after I did all my other training, I'd always pick up the racket and go and hit it on the wall. Through difficult periods of my life, athletics have always brought me through, and the one athletic sport it was tennis. And so, I got into it. I played in college, studied physical education, became a tennis professional, and this is what I do as a profession. Just eventually one day I had a corporate job, came home and told my wife, I was like, look, I'm not doing this anymore. I want to do tennis. And Did tennis I was a teaching professional for years before my parents even knew that's what I did as a job. They thought it was some kind of recreational thing. But I always had a calling to the highest level. I'm not a recreational coach. I'm a high performance coach. And you know, as you see with my kids and what I do with my kids, you know, that has always been my calling.
Well, I guess I took tennis. Now, I shared this story with you before we started, but I played on the tennis team in high school, but my reason was to get out of 8th period physics class. So I guess I'm not the type of person you want to work with or try to develop because I wasn't that serious type of student.
I'm drawn to your charm and your will to learn the game. So I can teach everybody. I can teach everybody except my wife. My wife is the only person on the planet that I can't teach because she can't make the separation between the husband and wife stuff and the coach stuff. In this domain, I'm in charge. Like with the kids, from one of the things, you wear different hats as a father and as a coach. And one of the things, if you notice, when they walk on the court, they don't call me dad, they call me Coach Andre. But with my wife, you know, I'm always Andre. I'm not doing that. I don't care what you say. But no, I can coach anyone. Yeah, but just as a profession, the level of intensity and what I bring to the table, it's hard for you to accept it if you're not if you don't have long-term goals. But I do clinics for, you know, I've taught recreational tennis for 25 years, so I can do it. But at this stage of my career, you know, we're going for the gusto.
I hear you. Yeah. So you wouldn't want to mess around with me. I definitely understand.
I didn't say that.
So Lauren and Simone, are there any misconceptions that people may have about you? And if there have been, how'd you overcome any of them?
I don't think there's that many. Actually, the only things that we get, everybody thinks they're twins.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's 2 years apart, and I'm taller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had to throw that one in there somewhere.
Now, are you guys really competitive against each other? Do you always want to beat Simone, and Simone, do you always want to beat Lauren?
Oh yes, yes.
That's when my best tennis comes out. It's like
we're
trying to
like
beat Simone.
yeah, we're like yin and yang. There's days where I have bad days where she's trying to challenge me, and as a big sister, I won't allow that to happen. And even for her, she has her days and moments of glory where she's like, yes, I beat the big sister. But it's always the next day where we're like, okay, I'm beating you today.
But they do bring some of the personal junk, you know. You borrowed my shoes and you didn't give it back, you know. You spilled chocolate on my blouse last night, so, you know, so they do bring some of the junk on the court. But I love it because it raises the level of practice and it raises the level of intensity. But at the end of the day, you know, we're a family, we're a unit, and, you know, as you can feel from being in our household, you know, the thing that I'm most proud of them and of what we've been able to do is we're a solid family. You know, we're not the cleavers. We do have our days, we do have our arguments, but more than anything else, at the end of the day, we are very united as a family.
Okay, and what's your goal for the upcoming years? Where do you want to see Lauren and Simone maybe 3 to 5 years down the road?
Oh, definitely at the top of the tennis world. I mean, that's, you know, once we made the decision as a unit and as a family that this was the direction that we wanted to move in, you know, again, if you spend more time with me, I don't do things just for the sake of doing it. I do it for being the best. And we have created a program, a very scientific and very specific program for them over the past, you know, 13 years that has given them the foundation and the tools to do so. But right now, so, you know, we need to get out there and to play. You know, we need to play the best to be the best. But, you know, 3 to 5 years, our goal is to be at the top of the game.
Okay, and I'd sure like to be invited to those matches so I could be there with you.
Send the players box.
Woo, I love it. VIP status.
There you go.
So on that note, do you think we could take some time out so we could see a little practice workout, and then after that, you think you'd be able to show me a thing or two?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
well, let's do it.
All right.